had already fixed my nail extensions before I started the video to make it easier. We'll be starting with stiletto. You cut off the edge in a stiletto-like shape, and then you would start filing each side. Make sure you file very equal. You keep filing left and right. Do not overfile the free edge. If not, you will lose shape. Make sure that the tip is directly in the middle, because if one side is overfiled, what you realize is it will look bent. And always remove the excess. I usually use a buffer sometimes to remove the excess. And then you make sure it's this sharp, and that gives you a stiletto. We'll be filing almond. You will have to cut out the sides in an almond or stiletto looking, or maybe an almond looking shape, makes it easier. And then you would start filing it very gentle. You file the sides, not as slant. We are not to file the side as slant as stiletto, but just a little bit slant. And then you carefully file the tip around the beads. Almond do not need to be sharp on the tip at all. It has to be round. The ones you see with the sharp ones is just the hybrid almond nails that have like the sharp tip. That's like the combination of almond and stiletto, and you usually hear people call it stiletto almond. But an almond nails is supposed to be blunt on the tip, not sharp. Always remove the excess so you can see what you are filing, so you do not overfile. You see how round the tip is? This is how round your almond is supposed to look. I usually like to use a buffer in trimming the tip if need be, but for me this is perfect. So I like to buff out the excess to be sure I have a good shape before I proceed. I used a narrow tip so it's easy for me to navigate, and it's easy for me to work on shapes. You cut out the edges in a way it could help you get through the shaping easily, because you would want something very, very easy. So once you cut off the edge, now the difference between ballerina and coffin is ballerina has a more tiny tip. So you go ahead and file the corners. You still need to leave like a square edge, so you need the tip very, very square, not round. So this is how ballerina looks like. You slightly file the sides, and then you buff out the excess to be sure you have a very nice shape. For coffin now, the shape of the nail I use, the nail extension I use, is a narrow tipped extension, so it's easy for me to like shaping sharper tips. That's why I'm not struggling. But if you square, you have to use the scissors to cut out the edges to help you work faster. And remember, it's not supposed to be as narrow as ballerina, so you make sure it's sharp and square. In filing square, most nails come pre-shaped in square, but if you're cutting off, you would make sure it's always sharp on the edge. I mean, not the corners, but it has to be like blunt, but I mean it has like a sharper edge. So doing square is the simplest and fastest nail shape. Always remove the excess to be sure you know what you are doing. And make sure the tips are blunt so it doesn't cut or break the client. Here we are. We have 5 beautiful shapes here. But I went ahead to add more shape by trimming off the almond shape to show you how round is being filed out. So you make your round nails by filing the edge, not too slighted at all, but round. You take your file left and right, and then you blunt the tip to give you like a round nail. It's easy to do, very easy, but best for like natural nails. When your client is not doing a very long nail according to their nail plate, please advise them to do another shape because it will look stunted, especially for stilettos. Always dust off to see what you had done. Thanks for watching.